spent over 30 years shaping engineering services and project delivery across industries. Mr. Vivekanand Challa.
Even though we bring in the talent from multiple areas wherein they are good in manufacturing, understanding of manufacturing, the design aspects, some are also required to be in the quality and the other aspects.
The intensity of the journey, it is clear how much determination and resilience it must have taken to navigate through that.
So the first thing that I would like to bring in any human resource centric industry is trust.
Hey everyone, welcome back to FaceTime with Leaders, powered by Directors Institute, World Council of Directors. I'm Charu Mehra, and today we are diving deep into the fascinating intersection of engineering, leadership, and people development, where complex projects meet human ambition and innovation meets purpose. Our guest today is someone who truly embodies that bridge. He spent over 30 years shaping engineering services and project delivery across industries, from heavy engineering and automotive to aerospace, medical equipment, and packaging machinery. He has led teams of hundreds, built new practices from scratch, mentored young professionals across India, the US, and Europe, and today, as head of India Growth and Strategy for Engineering Services at Tech Mahindra, he continues to design the future not just through machines and systems, but through people, processes, and vision. Please welcome Mr. Vivekanand Challa, PMP, an engineering strategist, mentor, and growth architect. Mr. Vivek, it's an absolute pleasure to have you with us today, sir. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing great. The pleasure is mine. Absolutely good and nice to have you talk to me, Charu.
Great, I love that. So I'm so excited to having this conversation with you. So let's start simple. So, Mr. Vivek, could you share your journey with us in your own words? Maybe one or two moments that really shaped you, a challenge that tested you, and one decision you still look back on with pride.
Absolutely. I think my journey started off with companies working in manufacturing industry, where I learned the nuances of the
Mhm.
industries, the technicalities of how the industry works, which is not actually taught to you in the college. The first experience is
Yes.
always the sweet one. You've
Yes.
learned a lot. You've sometimes fallen and risen again, and then that's how we learn. So started off with the manufacturing industry in 1991, went on into the engineering services industry in 1996.
Okay.
From then on, I've been in the engineering services industry doing in various roles, starting off as an engineer, going up into a senior engineer, manager, general manager, and also the head of practice for mechanical engineering
Mhm.
and head of resource management group as well.
Right.
The challenges that I've faced are mostly with understanding and being able to develop people, right? It's one of the most complex things that can happen, and it is the resource that engineering services looks forward to, because nothing is more important for an engineering services company than its own human resource. So I have
Absolutely.
transgressed into a manager who understands and empathizes with people and empathizes with the customer as well, and then learn to groom and develop teams with both technical and communication capabilities in the industry. So that's why I call myself somebody who can do capability and capacity management and also project management, for which I'm qualified. So that's what I would like to mention.
Wow, that is so wonderful hearing you describe your journey. The intensity of the journey, it is clear how much determination and resilience it must have taken to navigate through that. So thank you for sharing that with us. So you've been driving India growth strategy for captive engineering centers. What exact levers move the needle fastest? Was it talent pyramid, location strategy, or service catalog? And how did you measure impact quarter over quarter?
Yeah, so this is a very interesting challenge because in India, it is a complex situation when all the world is looking at providing Indian engineering services. The original reason why they come here is cost. And
Yes.
while we all understand that cost is something that is substantially ruling the requirement of engineering services in India, they also come here to find talent. So this combination of cost and talent is a complex thing where you need to manage these two in a very I would say thin line of management to be able to
Right.
get the best out of each. So it always and the second part of the thing to been working with the GCCs is to gain the trust of the local leadership in the GCC.
Right.
How you work with the local GCC, how you gain their trust is by actually taking some of the genome of what they do, by placing a few of our employees with them to get an understanding of what their work is and how they work and their ways of working, which is more important for us because
Right.
we don't want to start a new way of working for them, and we
Agree.
would want to follow what they are doing in their office. So it makes a three-pronged approach. One, understanding the genome and the working of the customer themselves. Second, identifying the technicalities where they are requiring the support from the engineering services industry. And the
Mm-hmm.
third part is actually finding the right talent and grooming them to be able to get into the slot that the customer is looking for. So these
Right.
three are the things which are there. The major challenge comes in when the cost comes into play. With the rise in experience with level of each resource or the human resource, the expectation also is to increase the cost of the resource while we are looking at mitigating. So
Right.
managing the pyramid which we have through which we are servicing the customer becomes a key here. How many
Right.
leaders we have, how many team leads we have, how many engineers we have supporting the customer, and how to
Mm-hmm.
actually retain the team so that we continuously support and gain the knowledge and retain the knowledge in the team are the key areas where we need to support the GCCs. And
Right.
the key of any GCC is to provide more number of services and expand the capacity of the service. So that's where we need to mitigate.
Agreed, agreed. Wow, that is so fascinating to hear how you balance multiple levels to drive growth. The way you navigated talent, geography, and cost while keeping the end goal in sight really highlights your strategic depth. It really shows how much perseverance and insight are required at that level. So, kudos to that, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, you implemented a customer location based managed services model. What were the non-negotiable SLAs or KPIs constructs you built in, and where did the first pilot stumble? And if it did, how did you fix it?
Sure. The managed services model is very critical when we start working with any one particular customer, and whether it is in the on-site or in the GCC or in the customer or in our location, which is an offshore model. The complexity comes in when we understand the scope of what is required from us, and
Right.
then start with working on that scope to develop the right talent to support that scope.
Mm-hmm.
The mix of the talent, as we spoke in the previous section, also is a key wherein we come here. But the challenge comes in when the customer is also has some pros and cons when working with us.
Agree.
Right? I mean, there could be somebody who's supportive, somebody who's not as much, and these kind of things come into play when we're looking at that. But the best
Right.
way we have seen and working with the customer in the managed services model is to start with something wherein there is a legacy, wherein we understand what the requirements of the job are, how they have done
Mhm.
the previous jobs,
Mhm.
and how they would need support with the previous jobs in doing what they have been doing. And right.
Right.
And that
Right.
becomes a key learning for us in our team, which is going to be a new support team for the customer. So finding out that exact thing as to how the legacy went, bringing the
Right.
genome of the customer through the legacy, understanding the technicalities and where we can provide a better value to the customer are key
Mm-hmm.
areas wherein we need to bring into the team. And then by supporting them with the legacy for a few months, that is, for example, for 3, 4 months, what
Right.
happens is we get the grind of understanding and we also support them on the grunt work which they are looking for, which takes
Agreed.
away a lot of pain for the customer, right?
Right.
Once he gets the confidence that the team has learned what needs to be done, and how it needs to be done in their way, because it's the customer's way which is very important because they've set their standards. So
Right,
this kind of learning curve which we bring into the team becomes like a train the trainer,
right,
right?
right,
The key seed team, this is what we call it, the seed team, grows into supporting the customer with the new requirements and everything else, while they are also taking the responsibility of training the next new team which is coming in, so that they can
right.
continue to grow wherever the customer is required. So this is the strategy which I think has worked well. Yes, in the initial, when we had some challenges of getting the work continuously from the customer because of their confidence levels,
Mm-hmm.
did stumble, but I think we persevered on the first time right kind of
Right.
things, and the on time and for delivery, and the first time right kind of key parameters to the customer, which gained their confidence and then brought him back to work with.
Wow, wow, that is so fascinating to hear the way you approach building a model that had to work across multiple client locations. The balance of operational discipline and creativity really comes through here.
Thank you.
For the medical equipment design and manufacturing client, what capabilities did you stand up first? Systems engineering, verification or validation, PLM or compliance, and why? Also, how did you align with the ISO 13485 or ICE 60601 expectations?
Sure. The first thing that we work with when we go into servicing any medical equipment manufacturer or design and manufacturer that we talk about is to understand the key compliances of the labor, right?
Right,
When we talk about the workforce that is going in there, they need to be compliant and be aware of the standards to a certain extent, wherein they bring the design thinking process which adheres into the compliance which is required, right? There could be a lot of things which are coming in with respect to the standards which are there, which bring in the materialistic, the form, fit, function, material, and process, which are used in the design phase,
right.
which affect a lot of manufacturing, the good manufacturing practices and everything else which go down in manufacturing the equipment itself,
Mhm.
right? So these kind of areas are key. So what we do is, even though we bring in the talent from multiple areas wherein they are good in manufacturing, understanding of manufacturing, the design aspects, some are also required to be in the quality and the other aspects. What
Right.
we do is we initially train them with respect to the medical standards that we're looking for, right?
Mhm.
Because compliance and reliability and quality are the utmost when we are talking about the medical equipment, because it deals directly with human life, right?
Mhm.
I'm not saying that it is not important in any other industry or requirement, but here there is a physical contact which comes between the equipment and the human this thing. So
Right.
there are the standards which are set for the medical industry are very high, and also the
Right.
standards that you referred to are referring to the key standards of materials which are used in any of the equipment, and
Right.
also the functionality of the equipment with reliability and accuracy.
Right.
So reliability, accuracy, and the quality becomes paramount for the medical equipment industry.
Right.
And the people who are working on that need to start understanding the um, parameters of quality and the compliance when they start working with these customers. So what we do is we tend not to take the freshers who are coming from the industry, but we
Right.
see some of the people who are tending to have 2 to 3 years of experience in
Experience.
manufacturing,
Mhm.
as well as in some, and we train them on the standards first. And once
Right.
they are trained on understanding of the standards and the compliance, we actually again go back to the customer and take their legacy work, so these
Okay.
people are trained on the legacy, and then we put them into the new projects and other areas where the customer required. So that's how
Right.
we mitigate the requirements of the medical industry.
Wow, wow, that is remarkable to hear how you approach standing up these critical capabilities while balancing compliance and operational needs. The strategic depth really comes here through. So, congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank
Can you describe the key steps you took to initiate the PLM, product lifecycle management practice at Altron Technologies, the challenges you faced during the setup, and how you overcame them? Additionally, How did you ensure that the practice was aligned with business goals and customer requirements? And how did you integrate PLM systems into existing engineering workflows to ensure their effectiveness?
Right. Just to set a quick background, as an engineering services provider, right? When I was with Altran Technologies, we work with various industry verticals. When I'm talking about industry verticals, it could be aerospace, automotive, industrial subsystems, medical equipment, and other industries, process and product industries as such. So
Right,
each the challenge of setting up a practice in product lifecycle management is that you need to cover an umbrella which is going across industries. It is not just tending to an aerospace or an automotive or a single customer where the PLM comes into play. So
right,
the practice of PLM starts with the consulting mode. You need to get a senior level a team who can actually get into the consultative mode with the customers,
right,
be in a position to understand what their current procedures are, right? And also at the other end, what the capabilities of the out of box solutions that the PLM providers give, and
right,
then match them to see how you can actually customize that. And this is not just with each customer, but it goes across different industries and different customers as such.
right, right,
So we need people in the practice at the consultative layer, wherein we start building everything underneath them. Right. When we start with the consultative layer, these people are key who have worked across industries similar to my profile, who have
mm-hmm,
worked in aerospace, who have worked in automotive, at least two or three industries in their career, and
right,
understand various nuances of what the product lifecycle works with. For example, it starts with the concept, flows into what the design will look like, how the sustainability aspects are taken care of, how we are
right,
taking that from the design to the verification and validation part of the design. Then the next prototyping, then you bring out the Mark One and then take it into production. And then after that, there is sustenance and end of life. So he needs to have an understanding of the whole life cycle as such, right?
right,
And how different industries handle life cycle, right?
mm-hmm,
Automotive handles life cycle in a different way. Their product life probably extends for about 15 years, but same is not the case with the medical equipment industry. For
agreed,
example, you're looking at a body scanner. The obsolescence management for a body scanner goes to about 20 years. So you need to be able to substitute parts and design, which goes into the extent of 20 years. So these are
right,
the nuances that need to be in the brain of the person who's going into the consultative
agreed,
sales or the consultative management for the PLM. So once we have these consultants in place,
mm-hmm,
the second layer is the people who are experts with respect to each PLM. For example, there could be a Windchill PLM which is there. There's an Innovia PLM which is there, and other
right,
PLMs which are in the market today, and manage them so that they can suit to the customization of what the customer needs.
wow,
So the best thing to work with any customer, or the ideal situation will be to have him have no change in the way he is working, because change is resisted by everybody.
agreed,
So
agreed,
if they are able to come close to what they have been doing by customizing the PLM requirements, I
right,
think we have achieved an ideal goal, which is very difficult to achieve. So the
right,
consultative layer and the layer experts in the PLM areas become key, and after that we do a lot of hand holding for the customer, and from both ends. They handhold us with their procedures and processes. We handhold them on what the technology can bring and enablers for them. And then it's like a kind of a coordinated dance which we go through and then set it up. So we
right,
initially have to go through a phase of doing a test, and then doing the test environment, and then setting it up, wherein change is the biggest thing to work with the customer, right? Bringing the new tools, how the way of working, the training also needs to be supported. Hand-holding of the
agreed,
customer for a period of
mhm,
3 to 6 months comes into play. So understanding these kind of nuances, setting up the team is the key for an engineering services company. The
right,
challenges come in the people dynamics, right?
oh, okay,
The person whom we have selected as a consultative has to be very empathetic. If he is
agreed,
hard and fast saying that this is how the things have to work, then the challenge is
Still
that
not.
that
Exactly.
nothing works with the customer. Nothing works
Right.
with the customer
Right.
because you
Right.
face a lot of resistance. Then you have all sorts of people dynamics and challenges come into play. So finding the right fit for the consultative layer all is the key when you're setting up the PLM practice.
Wow, that sounds like a really comprehensive process, the entire
Yes,
PLM thing, And it's really interesting to see how setbacks are navigated and you come out stronger. I can really resonate with that, facing that
thank you.
kinds of obstacles in leadership is a part of the game, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Vivek, this is our fun rapid fire round. It aims to know the person behind the professional. I want you to
Absolutely.
be quick and as spontaneous as possible.
Absolutely. Will
All
try.
right, let's get started. One dish you could eat forever.
Uh, I'd say stuffed aubergine or stuffed brinjal
Oh, wow.
with rice. That works for
Wow,
me every time.
that is an interesting one. Okay. Next one. Street food you'd fly for.
I would say chaat,
Chat?
definitely. And specifically coming to chaat, I would say the tiki chaat.
Oh, wow, that's nice. All right. Favorite city to get lost in?
My hometown, Hyderabad.
Ah, wonderful. Next one. Movies you can quote start to finish.
I would say the last mile, which is Tom Hanks' movie, which is there. The other one I would definitely say is Mission Impossible for the technicalities and other things which are in there, and a movie called 35 in Telugu,
Okay.
which shows the challenges of a very young child and how he goes through school. So I think these three movies I would definitely want to quote.
Wow, wonderful. Okay. Next one. A book you gift often.
Well, I would say the Bhagavad Gita, because I would always love to learn from it. I've been an
Right.
eternal learner and I'd like to have people learn from it.
Wow, that's a wonderful one. Really nice. Okay. Next one. If you could master one skill overnight, not related to your work, what would it be?
Well, some avenues of my hobbies in cooking where I lack, I think I would like to master that.
Wow, that is very wonderful.
For example, I have very little skill in mastering and making rotis. So if
Ah.
I'm able to make rotis, then fantastic, and impress my wife, that will be fantastic.
Wow, that sounds wonderful, sir. Okay. Next one. Dinner with three people, any era. Who's at the table?
I would say my first pick would be Chanakya.
Hmm.
My second pick would be Swami Vivekananda, whom I'm named after, and the current our current Prime Minister, Sri Narendra Modi.
Narendra Modi ji. Okay. That sounds an interesting dinner conversation.
Sure.
All right, last one. Describe yourself in three words.
I would say positive, practical, and perseverant.
Wow, that's really nice. So thank you so much for being so candid and honest with us here. It was so much fun talking to you, knowing you as a person.
Sure, that was my pleasure. Thank you.
So, Mr. Vivek, every industry faces its share of turbulence, whether it's cost overruns, project delays, or even headline grabbing scams that shake the public trust. In the world
Sure.
of engineering services, what kind of lapses or practices worry you the most? And how do you think true leaders can keep the integrity at the core when pressures are high?
So the first thing that I would like to bring in any human resource centric industry is trust, right? Bringing trust between the customer and the service provider is not a easy thing. It's not done overnight. It is done with providing support and service in the turbulent times for any engineering or any customer as such. So the better you support the customer in his turbulent times, I think the better, faster you gain his trust, and the longer you can keep his trust in the turbulent times when we face.
Right.
That is the key of a relationship in the engineering services industry. The other part is to keep the knowledge in the industry, right? Keeping the knowledge in the industry for where we need to have the work done, right,
Right.
is key. So, for example, we've developed a team which is supporting the customer for about a year now, and there is attrition,
Mhm.
right? Attrition is most human thing that can happen. By everybody is
Absolutely.
looking for a betterment of jobs, and they're moving
Right.
away for whatever reason. And the key at that point of time becomes the retention of knowledge, whether you can
Right.
retain the knowledge by retaining the team, or retain the knowledge by having your own systems in place where you can retain a new, or retrain a new employee
Yeah.
or a new associate for the customer, becomes the
Mhm.
key. And the second part is to have empathy within the team to the customer, right?
Right.
And the challenge comes in when you expect empathy from the customer as well, right? You are giving empathy to the customer, you're empathetic, you're getting a lot of understanding from the customer, then it is a fantastic relationship. It's a give and take
Right.
relationship
Right.
that comes in. The challenges come in when there is not a lot of empathy from the customer side. He always expects you to give and give and give. And as an engineering services provider, you are supposed to do that. It is your
Agree.
job, it is your business, and you're supposed to do that. But it
Agree.
becomes a challenge with for the team and the human element of the team to be able to do that. So what we do is we provide enablements to the team so that they
Mhm.
can make decisions on their own. The
Yeah.
best way to do this in the relationship is to give the team the uh, provision and the capability and the enablement to start making decisions on their own, right? And that kind of takes and charms the team to be retained with us, and also work harder to be able to provide the service that is expected by the customer.
Right.
Any challenge which goes in wherein you have the two key parameters, which is first time right and on time delivery, which get affected to the customer due to
Mhm.
change of team or change of procedure or whatever, hampers trust. So we have
Right.
to keep these things up time and again, and the perseverance from the team and the empathy of the team is absolutely expected. So these are the things which are challenges there.
Wow, wow. It's striking to hear the realities that you described. The pressure and tension in these environments are, I'm sure, palpable, and the way you navigate them shows both courage and foresight. So, thank you for sharing
Thank you.
that with us. This really makes the story relatable.
Thank you.
So you've recently been connected with Directors Institute World Council of Directors. What drew you to that community, and how has it influenced the way you now think about leadership, governance, and strategic growth?
Well, the ability of a director or an independent director is the understanding that I got from the Directors Institute. I mean, when I started off with saying the ability of a director, I'd like to explain a bit more. Basically, trying to
Mm-hmm.
say that the position in which an independent director is, with the kind of responsibility that he gets towards the stakeholders, towards the shareholders, towards the management, towards the society, is what I definitely love, because there are two things which I would like to talk about. The responsibility that you take up is based on your capability of what you bring to the industry,
Right.
right? For example, it could be capability building, capacity building, process orientation,
Mm-hmm.
or talking about the industry challenges which you would navigate against,
Right.
talking about the empathy that you would give to the this thing through sustainability practices and other things that you bring to the table,
Mm-hmm.
right? So this is what drew me towards being an independent director, and thankfully got the opportunity to associate with the Directors Institute, where they've guided me with the required knowledge and the capability to bring to the table not just my capability, which I'm bringing to the table, but the process and the procedures and the law by which we abide to be serve the management and the stakeholders in the being an independent director. So
Right.
thankfully to the Directors Institute, I would say everybody whom I've interacted with, whether it is the trainers, whether it is the coordinators, or people who have supported me in various engagements and exams and everything else that I've taken through for this, have been fantastic, very supportive. I would say I have probably been pushing them in odd, unsociable times as well, where they have been helping me out in achieving this goal. So I'm very thankful to the team in enabling me in getting this certification with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs.
Wow, wow, that is so wonderful, sir. Thank you so much for that feedback. And it's also fascinating to hear how connecting with the global community reshaped your perspective on leadership and governance. And I also feel inspired looking at you when you have such an extensive experience and you're still looking forward to enhancing your knowledge. So kudos on that, sir. And I wish you all the best for your future endeavors.
Thank you. Thank you.